I'm Kelly Schrock. I'm the president of the Community Foundation that serves Muncie and Delaware County. We're pleased to be here, and I'm joined by my colleague. I'm Marcy Mitten. I'm the Community Engagement Director for the Community Foundation. And we appreciate your time this morning. I know you've heard both Marcy and myself make announcements about different things happening at the Community Foundation that have an impact or that have an effect on Yorktown specifically. But today we'd like to talk a little bit about the Community Foundation overall. There's information on your table that you're more than welcome to take with you. And because lots of people are busy today and have lots of things going on, we do want to acknowledge the fact that the majority of the Yorktown Grants Committee is with us today. They're volunteers that serve the Community Foundation and make recommendations to our board for grants that come out of the Town of Yorktown Endowment Fund. And if you all would wave when I call your name, committee members are Rich Lee, Star Manning, Patty Decker, Sarah McCord. Laura Vise was not able to be here. She works out of town. And then we have a very special person today that's here, and that's Della Gregory. And it was her husband that started the Town of Yorktown Endowment Fund back in 1999 that's been serving this community specifically ever since. So we're here to talk overall about the Community Foundation. We were founded in 1985. We are one of the top 10 community foundations in the state of Indiana. For those of you that don't know, a community foundation is a public charity, a permanent source of money and endowment that benefits a specific geographic area. In the state of Indiana, we happen to slice that pie up by county, thanks to, in large part, a major grant from the Lilly Endowment back in 1990. So most states that you travel to may have one or two, or in North Carolina's case, 4. Indiana has 74 community foundations serving all 92 counties, okay? So we are the envy of most of the other community foundations in the country because of that. The Communities Foundation that serves your community is in the top 10 in this state. We are celebrating our 30th anniversary, and so we're excited to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing the last 30 years. We're also excited to tell you that Lilly Endowment, as a way of helping celebrate an anniversary across the state of Indiana, not just with ours, has offered up matching money. So any gifts coming to the Community Foundation through March 31 of next year are matched dollar for dollar if they go into an unrestricted endowment fund. So that way, the more money that we have in that unrestricted endowment fund, the more money we can grant back into the community in the form of grants to nonprofit organizations that do great work here and across our county. So I'm going to test your knowledge a little bit if you'll join me, and we have incentives. $100,000 bars. Get $100,000 for a correct answer. Only from the Community Foundation. So I gave you a little bit, some tips. So we're trying to make this easy. I know it's early. So do you know when the Community Foundation was founded? I heard a right answer, 1985. Thank you very much. It was an excellent year. Now, a little bit harder because I didn't give this one away. Do you happen to know when the first Community Foundation was founded nationwide? Any guess? We're in our infancy, we're in our infancy compared to this Community Foundation. Nope, you're still too young. 1914. Buffy got it right! 1914 in Cleveland, Ohio, thanks to a banker, and we always appreciate our colleagues in the banking industry. He established, it was a traveling aid fund, and it became the beginnings of the Cleveland Foundation. So community foundations as an industry had our centennial last year. So do you know where our offices are located? Downtown Jackson and Mulberry. We're at 201 East Jackson Street. Yes, we are in the Muncie Power Products building, or for those of you that know it as the old gas building. We're on the first floor, right? Street access, you come in and we're on the right. And we have 9 board members that serve by our charter that serve our organization. Can you name, we have 3 that live in Yorktown. Can you name any one of those 3 current board members who live in Yorktown? Nope. He lives in Albany. Judd Fisher lives out by the reservoir. And she lives in Blainstown. She lives in Center Township in Muncie. Kathy White lives in Muncie. He lives in Selma. She lives in Muncie. Kathy Stewart is our treasurer of the board. She lives in Yorktown. Jeff Lang is our vice chair of the board. He also lives in Yorktown. And Mike Gallagher is a board member, and he lives in Yorktown. Okay, so now you know some of your neighbors that serve the Community Foundation. We help nonprofit organizations every year in this community. Do you know how many registered nonprofits there are in Delaware County? These are water cooler tips for you later on today.
550.
That's too low.
Somewhere around 1,000.
That's too high.
702.
Still too high. 615 registered nonprofit organizations, 501c3 qualified. Do you know how much our current endowment is? The endowment that we manage?
$15,170.55.
No. The permanent endowment that the Community Foundation manages. Too low. Higher. Higher. We're one of the top 10 in the state, so you got to go higher. How much?
54.
You're $1 million short. 55 million. 55 million is what we manage. So last year we granted $2.5 million back into Delaware County in the form of scholarships and grants. Okay? And do you know what our tagline is at the Community Foundation? Yeah, that's going to give it away. Brian Hahn is the winner of that, where neighbors create legacies. And finally, do you know any of the funds that are specific to Yorktown? There are 5 of them actually 6 funds specifically that benefit Yorktown that we manage at the Community Foundation. The Yorktown Lions Club, yep, that's one. McKibben's another one. That's one of the scholarships. I already talked to you about one and introduced people that serve on that committee. Town Endowment, that's right. Then we have the Carolyn Lucas Scholarship, the Jim Leffler Memorial Scholarship, the Lindsay Scholarship, and then somebody had said the Yorktown Lions Scholarship. Those are the funds that specifically benefit students or nonprofits in Yorktown. All right, and Marcy's going to give you a little bit more information about those scholarship funds because, again, as you think about your neighbors and the people in this community, we want you to encourage them to consider applying for those and just encourage folks to make a gift to those in honor of people in this community.
So we just mentioned there are 5 scholarship funds that benefit Yorktown students pretty exclusively. There's one that has an exception. I'll talk about that here in a minute. And then, of course, we have a broad range of scholarships that Yorktown students can still apply for. They're just in competition with some of the other students in the county. This past year in 2015, 15 students from Yorktown High School received scholarships, including one of our Lilly Scholars. And I don't know if you know about the Lilly Scholarship, but that is full tuition and fees for all 4 years at any college in Indiana, including private colleges. That is a big deal. It's the biggest scholarship that we give out. It's very prestigious, our most prestigious. And one of the Lilly Scholars this year was from Katie Brown. I'm not sure if you know her. She's a lovely, lovely young lady. So 15 students benefited just this year alone. We talked a little bit about the scholarships. The first one is the Jim Leffler Memorial Scholarship. This scholarship was created to honor Jim Leffler. He was a beloved swim and cross-country coach for Yorktown High School. He passed away due to cancer in 2012. This scholarship is awarded annually. It's awarded to a senior cross-country runner from Yorktown High School. So if you know some cross-country folks, let them know about this scholarship. We also have a GPA requirement on that one. It's a 3.0 or higher, and they must be in good academic standing. And this one does have some consideration for academic record, leadership qualities, sportsmanship, citizenship, extracurricular activities, and it is decided by a special committee, the Leffler Committee, if you will. So if you do know some cross-country students, let them know about it. They need to talk to their guidance counselor, or they can also hop on our website and get a little bit more information too. The second one is the Robin S. Lindsay Memorial Scholarship. This one was created to honor Robin S. Lindsay. She was head coach and supporter of the Yorktown Swim Club and head coach of both the boys and girls varsity swim teams at Yorktown High School. So she was tragically killed in an automobile accident in 1999 while returning home from the USS swimming. So swimming definitely was her passion, and the kids at Yorktown were her passion. And so this scholarship is awarded annually. This is the one that has a little bit of an exception because it's to a college-bound graduating senior from Yorktown High School who's a member of the swim team, or a college-bound graduating senior from any high school that's a member of the Yorktown Swim Club. So it still has a Yorktown connection there, someone who's swimming there because she was both involved at the swim club and also at the high school. This one also has a GPA requirement, 3.0 or higher, and academic good standing, of course, and consideration given for leadership quality, sportsmanship, citizenship, extracurricular, community activities. You'll see this is kind of a pattern sometimes. Their donors really appreciate students of that caliber. So if you know a swimmer, let them know what to do. Carolyn A. Lucas Scholarship. This one was created to memorialize Carolyn Lucas. She was a former teacher at the school. It's awarded annually to an outstanding high school chemistry student at Yorktown High School who demonstrates good character and good citizenship, 3.0 GPA. This one actually is decided by the high school scholarship committee. So the community foundation process does the admin, some of that, but there's a committee at the high school that actually decides this one. They know the kids best sometimes, and that's how our donors felt on this one. The Robert and Wanda McKibben Scholarship was created to honor Robert and Wanda McKibben. They were longtime Yorktown residents. Barb, shake your head, you probably know. The recipients must be graduating from Yorktown High School. They have to attend a 4-year college to obtain a bachelor's degree, GPA of 3.0, good citizenship, good person, and they really wanted folks that were willing to try. And so that one's probably a little harder for the committee to think about, but they know their students. This is another one that is decided at the high school level. There's also some consideration for this one of financial need, participation in activities, community service, and involvement on athletic teams. And they actually prefer a first-generation college student on this one. Sometimes that may not happen, but most of the time it does. We're a big school here at Yorktown and lots of different variety and diversity of kids. And then the last scholarship is the Yorktown Lions Club that Devin mentioned. That's awarded to a Yorktown senior who wishes to attend a college, university, trade, or business school. They did the GPA requirement of 8 out of 12, fully equivalent, and good citizenship. This one again is decided by the high school. So we have 3 that are decided by the high school, and then Lindsay and Leffler are decided by us. So if you do know a senior this year, let them know that there are scholarships from the Community Foundation. They can hop on our website. Some of the applications are there. It depends if it's decided by the high school, and that's why I mentioned that. And they need to see their guidance counselors because they have their own process of how to evaluate those students. And then, of course, our last fund, which we'll get back to, that we have is the Town Endowment Fund.
All right, now I'm the participation part of this. Marcy has all the knowledge. We wanted to get you moving too. So this is where everybody gets to participate. So I want you to stand and remain standing if you have volunteered for Reach Yorktown Ministry. Thank you, ladies. Remain standing. I want you to stand and remain standing if you have visited the Yorktown Historical Alliance. Visited the Yorktown Historical Alliance. Becky Monroe's shop out there. She does a good job. Now stand and remain standing if you have ever played disc golf on the course at Lions Club Park. Disc golf? Any disc golfers? I have done that. I will remain standing. I want you to stand and remain standing if you have seen the Yorktown High School Marching Band perform. Fabulous. I want you to stand and remain standing if you have ever taken your dog or a friend's dog to the Yorktown Dog Park. All right. I want you to stand and remain standing if you have ever visited the Yorktown Public Library. Woo-hoo-hoo. I think we got everybody standing. If you've enjoyed 4 for the 4th, stand and remain standing. If you are a member of the Yorktown Chamber, that gets everybody. Give yourself a big round of applause. You may be seated. Each of the groups that I mentioned have benefited from a grant from the Town of Yorktown Endowment Fund. There are listings on your table that give you an idea of the breadth and scope that these grants have encompassed, benefiting your neighbors and your community. We are excited about celebrating 30 years because we are telling a story, one story for every year we've been in existence during the month of October. We're calling it 30 Days of Community. We have 24 stories and 6 videos that we're excited to share with you on a special microsite, 30daysofcommunity.org. And we are really excited to premiere, specifically for the Yorktown Chamber, the Town of Yorktown Endowment video that you will get to see one day next month on our special site. And Steve's got it all queued up for us.
Is it 30 days, 30 days, or it's spelled out?
30, the number 30, daysofcommunity.org. If you like us on Facebook, if you follow us on Twitter, you'll begin to see daily posts that'll lead you to that site. Even if you think you know a ton about us, check us out.
My name is Stan Schatt. I'm retired now, but I worked at the Old National Bank in Yorktown for 28 years. So I know that this small Hoosier town is a great place to live.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as we enjoyed seeing it for the first time. There were lots of oohs and ahs in our office, and we appreciate that Stan Schatt got out of his comfort zone a little and got in front of the camera to do that. But if you didn't know about the Town of Yorktown Endowment, I hope that gives you a much greater appreciation for what's been happening. Grants have actively been made from that fund since 2009, and again, you have those statistics on your table. I think it's something, definitely a pride point for our community, and something that we certainly talk about a lot at the Community Foundation when we meet folks, and we know they have a passion for this specific community in our county.
Yes, so you saw some familiar faces, right? Some that are in the room. And you are the very first to see this video
Right.
besides staff. So consider yourself thanked.
Not even our board has seen it.
Not even our board has seen
Premiered
it.
it here.
So we did premiere it here. As Kelly said, this fund was established in 1999 by Howard and Bella Gregory here. And it did start granting in 2009. The total that you'll see, it's already granted $15,117.55. It's a lot of money back into this community for good projects. 12 different projects have benefited. If you know someone coming up that would like to apply, the application deadline is always May 1st. And the application is available on our regular website, the microsite that's special for 30 days. On our regular website are the guidelines, the application, the information that they need in order to apply by May 1st. And then we normally have a decision sometime in the summer for folks. I know Reach has benefited and some others in the room. And the grants are decided by the Committee of Residents. And we introduced the committee earlier, and they're here to answer questions too, if you have questions.
So one of the things that I think is important to remember is the fact that while that fund was started in 1999 with a gift of $10,000, that's the minimum amount needed to establish a permanent endowment at the Community Foundation. It's already granted more than the initial investment back into the community, and will continue to do that forever. So it's good for now, and it's good for in the future. It's good forever. And I hope that that's a concept that continues to kind of take root with you as you come back and visit our microsite, 30daysofcommunity.org, and hear more of the stories, very much like this one, but we knew this one would hold a special place in each of your hearts and minds because of the ultimate recipients. So again, don't forget to join us at 30daysofcommunity.org every day in October, or at least 2 or 3 days during the month of October, to learn more and be inspired by the stories. One story for each of our 30 years. They're not all videos. Woe that we could afford a video for every day. But being fiscally responsible and very prudent, we can't. So there's 6 videos and there are 24 stories that we know you will enjoy. You can also get involved by liking our Facebook page, following us on Twitter. Again, we're going to be sending out daily messages that'll give you a little preview of what's to come, and you can click in and go right to the microsite from those 2 applications. And every time you share, here's the way you can get involved with some personal benefit back. Every time you share or retweet a Facebook or Twitter post directly from our page that has the 30 Days of Community hashtag, you will be entered into our contest. for a $100 gift card from your choice of either Vera Mae's Bistro or Casa del Sol. Okay, so that's a nice night out, either way you go. And we really appreciate your support. The Chamber has been a donor to the Community Foundation, and we are grateful for that. We appreciate those of you that volunteer and are great ambassadors in this community and across our county for the Community Foundation. And Marcy and I are here. Your committee members are here. If you have questions, we'd be willing to answer those and would look forward to talking with you about anything you might have on your mind. Yes?
Are there any other grants that we might be able to utilize in Yorktown that are not in Yorktown or Delaware County plans?
Certainly.
For instance, public art or looking at
Yes, and the Community Foundation has a quarterly competitive grants cycle. So 4 times a year we have applications that are come in from qualified nonprofits, 501c3 organizations. By law, because we're a public charity, we can only grant to 501c3 organizations. And so groups that are interested could take a look at the guidelines and the application that's on our website. If you've never applied for a grant from the Community Foundation, it's always appropriate and required. We really, really want you to talk to us first. Suzanne Katinger, our vice president, manages the grant making process, and she's the person you want to be in touch with. So she would be your next best step. Again, the Community Foundation staffs a 10-member grants committee made up of local volunteers who live or work in Delaware County. They review and research the grants and make recommendations to our board. All grant making is approved by our board. Again, that's part of our charter. So that happens, as I said, 4 times a year. And it's our unrestricted fund. When I mentioned that dollar for dollar matching money, it's our unrestricted fund that supports that grant making activity in the community. This year, the grants budget is $1,030,000. That's a high water mark for the foundation. So again, small gifts, large gifts, they all make a difference because they all go into the collective pool to help us continue to support great work in our nonprofit sector. Thank you very much for inviting us to be here today. We appreciate it.